Hey guys, and welcome to There's a New Tank Available Somehow, so here's a new video. So today I will be talking to you about the new Battle Pass tank, which is the Churchill W, which is called the Churchill W Defender if you put the camo on it. And honestly, it does have that little Defender engine kind of thingy that most Defender tanks have. And it looks okay. I'm not particularly in love with it. That's mainly because I'm not particularly in love with any of the Churchill tanks. There's quite a few of them, but the tank that it compares to the most is the Churchill 7, so that's the one that I'm going to compare it to for you while going over the stats. So the DPM is 1820, where it is 1889 for the Churchill 7. The pen is 152 versus 148, both have an alpha of 160. The rate of fire is 11.38, where it is 11.81 for the Churchill 7. And the Churchill W has a reload of 5.27 seconds, where it is 5.08 for the Churchill 7. It has a caliber of 77, where the Churchill 7 has 76.2, so it's very similar. And the shell velocity is 785 for both. They both have an aim time of 2.21 seconds. The dispersion is slightly better on the Churchill W at 0.345. They both have 4 degrees gun depression, 12 degrees gun elevation. The Churchill W goes 22 km per hour forwards, where the Churchill 7 goes 20 km per hour forwards. Both go 12 backwards. The Churchill W has slightly more engine power at 400, where the 7 has 375. Basically, the camo rating is the same, slightly better after shooting in the Churchill 7. They both have a view range of 240 meters, an HP of 1200. They weigh respectively 40.5 or 40.41 tons. And they have the exact same arm, which is like the turret arm is 152 in the front, 95 in the sides, and 95 in the back. And the whole arm is 152 in the front, 95 at the sides, and 51 in the back. So basically the tanks are very, very similar. And I find that this is one of those tanks that I wouldn't mind not having it. I will want it because I want all tanks, I want my collection complete and all. And the tank can be quite fun because it's a Churchill and it can have troll armor, but it is slow and it is cumbersome and it doesn't do particularly well. That being said though, it is tier 6 as per usual. Basically, people can have a wonderful time in this tank and do absolutely well, even though it's not the best tank out there. And that's just basically the thing with this tank. Like overall, I didn't mind driving it, but there's definitely tanks in tier 6 that I like driving around more, and I feel that in the battles that I've had, that I've won, it's more because my team and the enemy team were the right kind of potatoes to let me do like reasonably well, rather than the tank basically being good. That being said though, I do kind of like the way that it looks, and as said, at tier 6 you can make any tank kind of work, so there is that as well. And of course the Battle Pass is about a lot more than just tanks. Basically you have the camos, you've got the certificates, you got the booster thingies, you got the some gold that you get, and if you have the Battle Pass you also like get bigger vaults and you can get free XP and credits and gold and all of that. So of course there is that as well, but if you just look at the tank, then this would be a Battle Pass that I would probably skip. Unless, of course, you're very much a fan of all the Churchills and you want to add this to your collection because you like them so much. So yeah, I did get another battle for you, and like I said, I do like that little engine thing that I have. All the Defenders do have that little electricity thing running around it, but even compared to the other Defenders, it looks a bit meek in comparison, so to speak. And to be fair, if I'm completely honest, I think that my disappointment in the tank is mainly due to the fact that I do not like the tank itself. I've never been a fan of any of the Churchills. They do not fit my playstyle. And I can make them work, don't get me wrong. I can make any tank work relatively decently, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily like them. Because when I drive tier 6, I tend to take up my Fury of any of the more mobile tanks, because you can just basically zoom around and make stuff happen that way. You don't need to just wait until you can actually arrive somewhere and then basically manage to do the damage. And it kind of feels that way with this tank. I got some nice help from the Stuk here, so we take him out, and And then I just go peek around. The thing is that when I drive these new tanks, regardless of what new tank it is, I tend to be relatively aggressive because I want to see what the tank can take. And in this case, yeah, it can bounce from shots. And it has a nice reload and all of that. And it can hold its own if it needs to. But at the same time, it just takes such a long time to get anywhere that it can be difficult to carry the battle. Because you might not, basically, if you've gone the wrong way, it might take a long time to actually arrive at the actual battle. So that could be potentially an issue. But like I said, that's my personal preference. That is why I like driving more mobile tanks. Why I prefer to drive the Meep Meep Zoof Zoof tanks rather than tanks like the Churchill here. But it doesn't necessarily make the tank bad. I think that as far as Churchills go, it's perfectly balanced. And it can work its magic, and like I said, the reload is actually quite nice. So it does have its strengths. It does have a little bit of troll armor. It can bounce and all of that. It's just not a tank that I prefer. So there is that. But I will want it. I will want to add it to my collection. I will want to have it in my garage, same as all the other Churchills that I've got there, and that I then never drive. But yeah, Battle Pass is on its own. Have a lot more, of course, than just the tank. So money value wise, they're always worth it. If you want to spend money on the game at some point and you can't spend a lot, then generally this is the thing to spend your money on. You just need to go for a pass that has a tank that fits your playstyle. So if this is the kind of tank that you like the sort of slow heavy kind of tank with a quick reload, then of course this is the kind of battle pass that you should go for. But if it is not, then I would wait for another battle pass that you might enjoy more. So there is that as well. And I do apologize for sounding quite negative about the tank and all, but the thing is that after all the things I've been completely hyped for, that I've absolutely loved, like the whole Pharaoh event and everything regarded to that, and all the Halloween stuff, I just kind of feel like a bit deflated, I think, when I'm driving this tank. Compared to all the great stuff that we've had, it just doesn't measure up for me. That being said, though, I do like it with the camo. When you get that little engine on it and everything, then it becomes a lot more fun to at least look at. So, basically also like the little British tank flag that is on there. I quite like that. Nice little touch. But yeah, that's basically my review of this tank. Hope you guys enjoyed it, regardless of my negativity, and I'll see you guys next time again. Bye bye!